Yo, YouTube, it's Aeghis, and I'm back with another video. If you didn't know, I was taking a small YouTube break, so that's why I haven't been uploading. But I am back now, and I'm excited to be able to push out more high-rated Fire Mage content, along with more educational videos as well, and really just overall attempting to help you guys as the viewers achieve rating in this game as a mage. Recently, one of my viewers actually reached out to me, and he was like crushing through all sorts of rating barriers. You know, he got his first 2400, and then not shortly after that, he also got his first gladiator. He also mentioned how like he learned a lot from watching my videos, not only just the educational stuff, but also like my stream as well on Twitch. And I've got to say that that is definitely one of the biggest reasons I'm in the YouTube and Twitch game. I know it sounds like fake or corny or whatever, but I do genuinely get satisfaction from seeing people, achieve their rating goals, and you know, them actually learning from my videos and making sure that they actually provide real value. So I really do appreciate everyone watching the video. Anyways, let's get into why you should be running Flamecannon and why it's so strong. Okay, so the first thing I want to cover about Flamecannon is why exactly are we changing to Flamecannon? What changed in this past couple of days or whatever? Why am I all of a sudden starting to run Flamecannon? Basically the reason for this, there's a couple reasons. So a while ago, if you didn't know this, Ring of Fire did actually receive a pretty sizable nerf, which made it significantly weaker. But I think a lot of mages, including me, stayed Ring of Fire kind of out of comfort. It still, felt like a good ability to press because it once was. And there wasn't really a stronger pick. Like, it didn't really feel amazing to take any of these other ones. And I always disliked Flamecannon personally because I didn't like how it changed your playstyle. It made you, play differently and move differently to try and maintain stacks. So like I said, I stayed Ring of Fire, and I think a lot of other mages did as well. Stayed Ring of Fire purely out of comfort. I've noticed in my recent 3s and 2s sessions, more 3s. Ring of Fire is still, I feel like, decent in 2s, but in 3s, trying to include Ring of Fire into the rotation feels very clunky at times, and there would be some games where I would go the entire match without even pressing it a single time. So it felt like a overall damage loss when you could just run Flamecannon instead and kind of have a, passive ability that, since you're not really casting a lot of Ring of Fires and 3s anyways, you might as well just get the passive benefits from Flamecannon. So real quick, I'm going to go over what exactly is Flamecannon. Okay, so what exactly is Flamecannon? So Flamecannon is a buff that you get. It's a passive ability, passive buff that you get every 2 seconds while you're standing still in PvP combat. So I'm in combat here, and you can see there's a buff stacking on me which increases my health by 3%, my damage by 3%, and the range of my fire spells by 3 yards. And it accumulates up to 5 stacks. You can see here it's 3, then it's 6, then it's... I dropped combat, so now it's 9, because I got combat again. Now it's 12, and then ultimately ends up at 15. And it'll maintain its full stacks here as long as you're maintaining combat and standing still. So that really brings me to the main reason as to why we're running Flamecannon here, and that is really for the amount of damage that it adds. It adds a significant amount of damage to your already hard-hitting abilities such as Fireball, Fire Blast, and Pyroblast. And the reason why this is better is because you're not using a global to put down a Ring of Fire, to tick them for, 3k every tick. It's just making your abilities that you're already pumping into the target, it makes them hit 15% harder, which adds up to way more damage than you would receive if you only casted like a Ring of Fire or something. So obviously this means that for your damage rotation you are going to have to stand still. So I'm going to actually run 2 clips here, and I'm going to do a voiceover of the damage differences between a bust go without Flamecannon and then a bust go with a full 5-stack Flamecannon. Okay, so let's watch. This is a no flame cannon go. So we're watching it back here in slow motion. We fireball, bust, double, fire blast, pyroblast, pyroblast, and it's actually looking like that we're averaging around an 8.7k pyro and about a 4500 fire blast. So let's watch that one more time and a little bit slower motion here. So you can see I have no stacks of flame cannon, and I'm making sure that I'm moving left to right during my bust to ensure that I don't add up any stacks. So I bust, fire blast. That was the fireball. There's the first pyro. Fire blast, pyroblast, pyroblast. And then I had to even send in a Phoenix Flames there at the end because he wasn't dead. So we can actually examine this with the flame cannon go. So I'll meet you guys at that clip. So as we can see here, we are looking at our 5-stack flame cannon go. I'm spell stealing the poly to make sure I'm in combat. As you can see next to my frame, I have 5 buffs. There's already 2 5k fire blasts, a 9k and a 10k. Pyro, another 9k, and then a 10k. So as you can see, the damage is already way higher, and it's all instant too, right? We're not having to put down a ring of fire, which is an entire global that we're not doing damage, and then the ring of fire only ticks once every 3 seconds. So as you can see in the beginning clips, my first 2 fire blasts hit for 43, so that's already you know, a almost 2k increase right there. The pyroblasts are obviously hitting 1k harder. That was a 5400 fire blast, so that's hitting almost 1000 larger. So as you can see, like, the damage is way higher, and the speed of which the damage comes out isn't over time. You know, it's all instant. So that's really, I think, the most powerful aspect of flame cannon. So you can actually point out in this clip, you can see I'm going for the pre-poly on the druid because we want to kill the druid here. And as I'm CCing the other two, my stacks actually build up. So you can see in this clip I didn't have a 5-stack pre-built. This is how a lot of your goes will look. You can see I have, for this go, a 3-stack flame cannon, which is 9% more dam on that go. So it's huge. You're not always going to get the 5-stack. So we can see in this clip I get the pre-DB. Trying to get the warrior here. So you can see it's stacking up as I'm busting. And something that this clip notices is I actually shifting and essentially get a second bust that's even stronger. So I'll play that again in a second actually. Okay, so in this clip you can see I'm doing my normal bust rotation. I have my 2 stacks of flame cannon, and here you can actually see I ran out of fire blast charges, so I shifting powers to get them back. This is something I do often. I shifting power for them back. Also it drops the Field of Blossoms haste. Making sure to maintain my Infernal Cascade stacks, and that's one thing that you can do with Flame Cannon, and it scales really well with Flame Cannon, is you can extend your bust with shifting power, and it's only going to get stronger because you're going to maintain your stacks of Infernal Cascade, and Flame Cannon will continue to build up as you bust. Okay, so there's one more topic that I kind of want to talk about, and that is really when you should be intentionally playing around this ability. Like when you should actively trying to be building it up, and when you should kind of just let it do its work passively. You know, definitely be moving around and try to like better your positioning. And basically when you want to intentionally do it is when you're going for a go, right? So one thing you can do, like let's say this is the kill target or whatever. So you're in combat, you know, you sheep this guy, boom, he's in a sheep, you blink, DB, ring. Okay, nice. So now by this time I've already have 3 seconds of I already have like 3 or 5 seconds of flame cannon, you know, so I'm doing big dam with my go here. So that's something like after you DB sheep, if you're in line with the kill target, you know, just don't like move or whatever. Now, obviously if you have to move, like if he's out of LOS and you have a blink, that would be ideal because that'll save the stacks. That's something I wanted to talk about a little bit later, but I can just bring it up now. So like when you have stacks of flame cannon, here I'll show you. So I'm in combat here, I have stacks of flame cannon. When I blink around, you know, and like alter back, none of that actually counts as movement. So it's actually gonna just keep stacking up. So yeah, like they all don't count as movement abilities. So when you want to do it passively is really the biggest thing is you don't want it to affect your defensive play and your positioning. So if a target, if your healer gets in CC and you have a 5-stack flame cannon, don't let that discourage you from popping altar and blinking around a pillar, right? So like I said, you don't want it to change your gameplay in that aspect. You really want it to be, you know, a passive change on defense. If you can build up the extra health before you get stunned, it could be nice. But like I said, let's say like you're fighting a jungle and a feral maims you, like I'm maimed right now. My health is going to passively go up in the stun, which is going to help a little bit defensively. Yeah, like I said, you don't want it to really change too much of your play. So largely let Flamecannon do its work passively. Let it passively make you do more damage. And then on your go, if you have the mobility to be able to do it, use it intentionally to not move during your bust or your burst, so that you have the damage for you have the more damage for your go. So that's going to be all for that. I wanted to talk about tips and tricks real quick, so I'll get into that here. So this is just going to be my recommendation and a little bit of some cool tech that you can do with Flamecannon. So as you can see here, let's say there's a druid up here like trying to get a re-stealth, right? Well, normally I wouldn't be able to flame strike up there to keep him in combat, right? But as you can see, my green circle is getting longer and longer range every time my Flamecannon stacks. So you can see this is where it's like all the way up at the top of the cliff with max Flamecannon, and then if I go ahead and remove Flamecannon, it doesn't even start to go up the cliff. So you can see like every single time it goes, or every time it stacks, you know, it's increasing the distance of my flame, of my flame strike. And this is going to allow you to stop drinks better. You're going to be able to stop resales, you know, from druids and rogues. So you can really kind of abuse that for flame striking behind pillars and whatnot, from usually when you couldn't, since you have the increased range. Another thing, like I touched on earlier, the movement doesn't really, like, I can alter and then like blink, and then like it'll stack and I'll blink back or alter back, and it like doesn't affect it, and then I can like use blink again, and like you see I'm still maintaining my 5 stacks here. I would recommend to actually make a weak aura or a tell me when. I personally use tell me when, but weak aura is fine too, to be able to track your stacks. That's going to be another tip. And another tip is if you are intentionally trying to, like, let's say you know, this is just something really small, but if you could do it, it could actually lead to a kill. So let's say you go in for like your DB sheep, you know, you get the sheep, the target's a little bit out of LOS, you can move during 5 and 4, and then you could, like, you see I still have my 5 stacks. So what I mean by you can move during 5 and 4 is the big red 5 and 4 here, like where it's counting down my flame cannon. Those are the time periods where you can actually move and it'll still stack. See, if I move at, like, let's say 3, so you see here I move at 3, it doesn't stack, it goes back down to 1. But if I move during these 5 or this 5th second and 4th second, it's actually able to maintain its stacks, and I get a little bit of movement in between. It's just small tech like that could help, so I just thought it would be useful to throw it in here. But anyways, that is gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys try out Flamecannon for yourselves and just experience the passive damage. You're gonna notice it pretty much instantly. But yeah, anyways, that's all for this video. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed, and peace out, YouTube.